The one behavior that makes wolves hesitate. Most people think wolves hesitate because a guardian dog is aggressive, but that's almost never the reason. In fact, the dogs wolves hesitate around the most are often the ones doing almost nothing at all. They aren't barking, they aren't chasing, they're just standing there, completely calm. And strangely enough, that calm behavior is often what stops a predator before the conflict even begins. Because wolves don't attack randomly, they study first, and the one behavior they're looking for is something most people completely miss. When people imagine wolves approaching livestock, they usually picture chaos, a pack running out of the woods, animals scattering, guardian dogs barking and chasing, but in reality, predator encounters rarely start that way. Most begin quietly. Wolves approach slowly, usually at the edge of a field or tree line. They don't immediately rush in. Instead, they watch. They study the herd, and more importantly, they study the guardian dog. Because predators are constantly calculating risk. An injured wolf in the wild often doesn't survive long, so every decision they make is based on one question: is this worth it? And the guardian dog's behavior often answers that question immediately. Most people assume predators are intimidated by loud, aggressive dogs, but wolves aren't easily fooled by noise. They've encountered barking dogs before. What actually makes them hesitate is something far simpler: confidence. A calm guardian dog signals confidence in a way aggression never can. A dog that stands still, watching, not reacting impulsively, not panicking, not charging blindly, that calm presence sends a very different message to a predator. It suggests control, and predators notice that immediately. In the wild, animals often read each other through subtle behavior. Confidence and control usually appear calm. Weakness usually appears frantic. When a dog begins barking wildly or chasing aggressively, wolves often interpret that as emotional behavior, and emotional behavior is predictable. Predictable animals can be manipulated, but a calm dog that simply watches is much harder to read. That uncertainty alone can make predators hesitate, because wolves prefer easy targets, and calm guardians rarely look like easy targets. Wolves test before they commit. Another thing many people don't realize is the wolves frequently test animals before committing to the attack. They move closer, circle slowly, watch for reactions. They're trying to see what kind of response they'll get. If the guardian dog reacts impulsively, the wolves learn something valuable. They learn how the dog behaves. But when a guardian dog simply holds its ground calmly, the test often fails. The wolves don't get the reaction they expected, and that uncertainty can completely change the outcome of the encounter. Livestock guardian dogs were bred for exactly that type of interaction. Their job isn't always to fight predators. In fact, the best guardian dogs prevent conflict long before it begins. They patrol, they observe, and when predators appear, they don't immediately react emotionally. They simply acknowledge the threat, and that quiet confidence often communicates something very clear: this territory is already defended. Predators understand territorial signals very well, and when those signals come from a calm, confident guardian, the message is much stronger than barking alone. Aggression can still be important in some situations, but uncontrolled aggression often creates new problems. A dog that constantly chases predators far from the herd may leave livestock vulnerable. A dog that reacts impulsively can also reveal patterns in its behavior. Predators learn quickly, and wolves that understand a dog's routine may eventually exploit it. But calm guardians rarely give away those kind of patterns. They remain unpredictable. Another reason uncontrolled aggression can backfire is because predators are extremely good at learning patterns. Wolves are not just hunters, they are observers. When a pack begins watching livestock, they often spend days or even weeks studying the environment before making a serious move. They notice the terrain, they notice where animals sleep, they notice when humans arrive and when they leave. But they also notice something else. They notice the dogs. Every movement the guardian dog makes tells the wolves something about how the territory is defended. If the dog reacts the same way every single time, the wolves slowly begin to understand that pattern. And once a predator understands the routine of its opponent, hesitation starts to disappear because uncertainty is replaced with information, and information reduces fear. That's why predictable aggression can eventually work against the guardian dog. A calm guardian dog behaves very differently. Instead of reacting emotionally to every movement, calm guardians often watch first. They observe the predator the same way the predator observes them. Sometimes they move slowly toward the threat. Sometimes they simply stand their ground. Sometimes they position themselves between the herd and the predator without making a sound. This behavior creates uncertainty for the predator, and uncertainty is something wolves prefer to avoid. In the wild, uncertainty can lead to injury, and injury can lead to death. So when wolves encounter a guardian dog that doesn't behave predictably, they often become cautious, not because the dog is aggressive, but because the dog is controlled. Another factor that influences predator hesitation is territorial confidence. Livestock guardian dogs are not simply protecting animals, they are defending territory. A territorial behavior sends signals that predators recognize immediately. A confident guardian doesn't just react to predators, it occupies the space around the herd. It patrols, it positions itself strategically, it moves through the field in ways that show the area is already claimed. Predators are extremely sensitive to territorial signals because territory usually means competition, and competition increases risk. So when a calm guardian dog patrols confidently through its environment, wolves often interpret that behavior as a warning. The message is simple. This space is already defended, and predators prefer to look for opportunities where resistance is weaker. But wolves are very adaptable. If they continue to observe livestock in the guardian dog over time, they may adjust their strategy. Sometimes they will approach from different directions. Sometimes they appear briefly and disappear again. Sometimes they simply watch from a distance. These behaviors are not random. They're tests. Wolves are trying to understand how the guardian dog reacts under different circumstances. Does the dog chase immediately? Does it bark endlessly? Does it leave the herd while pursuing predators? Every reaction reveals something, and the more information wolves gather, the more confident they become. But calm guardians rarely reveal too much, because their behavior doesn't change dramatically with every small movement. Instead, they remain steady, and that steadiness makes predators cautious. Eventually, every predator encounter reaches a decision point. The wolves either commit to the attack or they move on. That decision usually happens long before any physical conflict begins, and it often comes down to one simple question: how difficult will this be? If the livestock appear unprotected and the guardian dog behaves erratically, predators may see opportunity. But when the guardian dog remains calm, confident, and present with the herd, the calculation changes. The wolves realize that the situation may become unpredictable, and unpredictable situations can quickly become dangerous. So many times, the pack simply chooses another opportunity, not because they're afraid of the dog, but because the risk no longer seems worth the reward. One of the most misunderstood aspects of LGDs is the idea that they must constantly fight predators to be effective. In reality, the best guardians often prevent conflict before it ever begins. Their presence alone changes predator behavior. Their calmness signals control. Their territorial patrols signal ownership. The steady attention signals awareness. All of these small behaviors combine to create something predators recognize immediately: resistance. And when predators see strong resistance, they usually search for easier opportunities, which means the calm guardian dog has already succeeded, not by chasing wolves away, but by convincing them not to try in the first place. So while aggression can play a role in livestock protection, it isn't always the behavior that stops predators. Sometimes the most powerful signal a guardian dog can send is calm confidence, because predators don't just react to noise or movement, they react to control. And the dogs that demonstrate the most control are often the ones predators hesitate around the longest, sometimes watching, sometimes testing, and sometimes quietly deciding that this is one challenge they would rather avoid. Aggression in a livestock guardian dog can be useful, but too much of it can actually create problems. When a dog reacts with constant barking, chasing, or uncontrolled energy, it can cause livestock to panic and scatter. That chaos can make animals easier targets for predators instead of protecting them. Calm guardian dogs tend to be more effective because they control the situation rather than reacting emotionally. They stay close to the herd, keep livestock calm, and make predators uncertain about the risk. In many cases, that calm confidence is what actually stops an attack before it ever begins. So if you have an overaggressive guardian dog, beware of the danger and the possible chaos that it may cause. If you enjoyed this video, or if you learned something new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.